I'm Batman, and this is the Fitness League 5.
I'm Andre Cruz, Cruise Control.
I'm the big white fish, Kahuna.
Whoa, what's your real name?
No, hablo español. I'm Mike.
And I'm the easy breezy, Mike Barbot. Man, I didn't know we were doing this like fancy name thing. My name's Chris, Coach Chris.
You're the son of a monkey.
Coach Chris, all right.
Monkey.
Real quick, thank you to all of our sponsors. Rhino Co Fitness, CrossFit Union Square, Fireline Strong,
Reebok One, the Barbell CEO.
Reebok, J2 Fit. Same as this guy.
Rhino Co, double plug, titty plug.
And unanimous
And Julio's mom.
anonymous coffee person. So
Yes.
we are looking. We're taking
Looking
applications.
for coffee sponsors.
So, yeah.
And Julio's mom.
Guys, IWF Championships, November 20th to 28th.
International Weightlifting
Get in
Federation.
there. Get in there.
So, this week, talking about some stuff. A couple days ago, Mr. Dewar and I were in a car driving to a competition. And Mike's like, man, so I had a competition yesterday, and I was thinking about doing another one. It was an Olympic lifting meet. And he's like, I was thinking about doing another one in December, but I hit my goal, so I don't think I want to do one. I don't know what to do now. Mike, you want to talk about that a little bit?
What was your goal, first of all?
Well, so my end of the year 2015 goal was 240 kilo total. So I wanted a 110 snatch, which is 242 pounds, and I wanted a 130 clean and jerk, which
6
is
for 6, baby.
6 for 6
Golf clap.
in the 85 weight class. So that was my goal. I had 2 meets to meet it, and I hit it in my first meet. So I was telling Andre as we were going to the next competition, I was like, you know, man, like, I don't want this to sound bad, but I kind of finished the competition. I hit my goals. We should really talk about how do we go from A, when you finish competition, how do you reset your goals? B, maybe you don't finish competition, but you finish a training cycle, and maybe you hit goals or you don't. How do you figure out what to do next? And then,
Or if you're injured.
or the last one was if you're injured, it's like there's a lot of issues. People don't know how to get back into it. Chris is going through that right now.
Mike kind of went through it a little bit.
Mike went through it with his hip. He's doing too
I'm a little
many.
bit further along, yeah.
He's dancing too long on that dance floor, making those singles.
Dropping lows. Why did you get us the smallest coffees in the world?
Because it makes my hands look bigger.
Yeah.
I feel like
It's
I
like
have these
that-
tiny hands.
It's like that
I really
Burger King
use them.
commercial.
No, well, they
Oh,
use
you-
it for
Seth, you
small
have a
cups.
tiny hand.
But this is why when I drink it, I crush it and I feel so big. Because I saw those orange shirts.
So we're going to reel in today, and we're going to help you guys determine, the name of the show is to set goals, kick ass, and repeat, right? No matter what your goals need to be. So we're going to get some different perspectives. So without further ado, I'd like to see what everybody, how do you determine goals, right? What is a goal to you, and how do you set them, and how do you make sure you're setting the right goals? And let's kind of just, because we're all coaches here, we're all athletes. What's realistic? Like for me to say I want to deadlift 1,000 pounds in a year,
It's not realistic.
No.
Not
So I think
maybe 900.
anyone who's worked in the fitness industry for a while, or even anyone who's worked in business, I learned this back when I used to be a finance guy. Goals should always be SMART. Okay? What does the S stand for? You guys really know?
I actually made the show notes and I forgot what SMART. It stands
Yeah, you
for
just
simple.
put smart.
No,
Simple.
is that right?
You don't
All
know.
right, I'm gonna take your
Sugar.
Sugar.
I forgot. Sugar, milk, almonds.
No, so I mean,
Reese's.
we don't have to go the whole
It's,
smart.
but where he's going with this is SMART goals, and there's an acronym that we're gonna pull up, and we're gonna break down what that is because we do know what it means. We just forget the acronym.
In general, a goal should be something that, once again,
It is specific.
That's
Burpees.
That's the next
How
one.
many- how
That's the
many
next
ones?
one. I
Specific.
said 10. I said 10.
Measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound.
There you go.
Or time.
Time was
That
the
works, that
All
works.
right, so
Specific.
specific.
So, let's start with specific. So specific shouldn't be I wanna
Lose weight.
I wanna lose weight. Exactly. That's like the worst.
Good answer.
That's the worst. That's the worst. I hear that a
But
lot.
that's the most common one.
That is the most common. And toning.
Now, do you get that mainly from people that are just starting?
No. They actually hear that from a lot of people in general. So we just did a fitness challenge or a nutrition challenge here over the last 6 weeks, and a lot of people said, "Yeah, I'm interested in toning." What does that mean? What does that mean?
Muscle
A-
frequency.
Perfect
That's
example.
Yeah. So a better way to make that specific is I want to decrease body fat overall and specifically increase muscular definition on my triceps, biceps, etc. So putting a little bit of specificity to it.
Yeah. So that's,
So
that's
if you're thinking Olympic weightlifting, is a number not specific?
It depends. So that's kind of, it depends on the stage of the athlete, right? So we get athletes coming in and they're like, I want to get stronger. Well, then you just need to do back squat, front squats. And as a coach, there's normal charts out there that you can say, okay, we had it up the other day. We were showing people like where you are with the general population compared to other athletes. Say you need to have an 80% front squat to match whatever your clean and jerk should be. There's numbers out there that coaches can pull up to help their clients set goals, because that's also the coach's role. So I think that's the specific part. And then the next part, what was measurable, which, you know, so like back to like Andre's thing of I wanna lose weight. Well, okay, you can measure that. It's not very specific, but you can measure it with a scale. Right.
You find a beginning point, and then what you're doing.
Yeah,
Right.
which is
And
part of your assessment process.
And if you apply that to Olympic lifting, it's like, all right, well, we got to test everything.
Yeah.
Got to test your squat, your press, your clean and jerk, all that stuff.
Yeah, like let's say for a competition, I have to weigh 187, so that's my goal there. I have to be able to track that and know where my weight is throughout my training process. So this way, when the competition comes, I'm there, like I'm actually ready. So you can actually watch that goal.
Yeah, so like we look at like any athletics or a skill-dependent sport, and since we're on weightlifting, I'll kind of, just because we're out of topic, if we look at it like from a measurable standpoint, we have athletes, and you can easily measure by how much you lift. However, that might not be great for a beginning CrossFitter or beginning athlete, because the stage of development is different. So maybe it's a matter of there is a subjective measure instead of an objective with numbers, where the coach says, okay, is this person fluent with the bar mechanics, right? Is the bar speed staying at its peak levels as I slowly add weight? And they're not really concerned with how much they're putting on the bar, rather how quickly they're moving under the bar, how fluent they are with the patterns, can they do it day in, day out? Then you're moving to the next stage, you know? So that's like another example where it might not be weight dependent, it might not be, you know, it might be more of a subjective measure, you know?
Yep.
So,
All right. What's the next one? Attainable? Achievable?
Achievable.
So that kind of goes in hand with the realistic part. So we'll do A and R together. So let's say that, you know, what was your snatch at the beginning of 2015?
I think it was 90 kilos. I think maybe 90 kilo.
So
on a day where it wasn't consistent.
20 up.
So I went up 20 kilo, which is 44 pounds.
We're talking to Americans here. We measure in pounds.
Yeah. So
44
so it was
pounds
about
over the course of a year.
198. I would
American.
hit beginning of this year, and within 11 months it went up 44 pounds.
Right. So let's go back to the beginning. Let's say that Mike Dewar, day one, January 1st, 2015. If you said, all right, I'm snatching 90 kilos today, I want to be able to snatch 200 kilos by the end of the year. Unrealistic. Unrealistic. And unattainable.
Did you have a goal then?
So it was weird, because I understood that I obviously wanted, I wanted as much weight as I could, but I understood that my biggest goal for the first half of the year needed to come from a subjective means, which is I understand I have flaws in my technique. I still do. So it was a matter of working on that. And then I really kind of made small goals, and almost like if I didn't attain them, I just wasn't working out. So my goal by the end of the year was 100 kilo, 220. All right, I wanted to snatch 2 blues on each side. So that was my goal. And just through working a lot of technique work, I finally hit that like early in the fall, and then things started to take off.
So even if we would have used that as simple, that's exactly where you started.
Yeah.
You started with, hey, there's a simple goal. I'm going to start with simple movements in order to be able to get to that ultimate goal.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. And that's the way to go about it.
Yeah.
After that, we have
Timely?
Time down.
No.
Yep.
Time down.
R,
So,
what's the R?
We did R. We did A and R together. Realistic and achievable.
Time.
So it wouldn't, like I said, it wouldn't be achievable or,
you snuck that right by me.
I know.
Well,
Ninja.
the first few
My
steps
Batman
will
mask.
get you to that R, because you're gonna have to actually look at these goals and say, all right, yes, I would love to be snatching 140, but I'm not quite there because I need to work on technique on my certain skill set, or just getting stronger, period.
You know
so
that,
then, it starts to bring you to that R, being, okay, let me be realistic, and what do I have to work on first to start getting there?
There's some cool charts, like I'm not killing the weightlifting thing, but we do have a lot of listeners out there that are aware of their strength, they are aware of their power, and they want to know how to get better with that. And there are charts that I'll post in our show notes on the blog there that we'll post everything. There's cool little charts out there where it's like, I knew at some point where I hit my technique was on, and this was like the end of the fall here, and I realized that I just need to get stronger. Like my front squat was not strong enough, I needed it to be, my back squat wasn't strong enough. So I was able to put really like specific needs in my training program, be like, I need to be squatting more, I need to be, you know, the frequency needs to go up, I need to maintain my body weight. So then I had a very direct plan. You know, and that's a way that any coach who's listening to this can use that with their athletes.
Yeah.
Or any beginner athlete too.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know, it could be a mobility issue or just an awareness issue. So starting with as simple as going back to overhead squats, PVC pipes. You know, I see it in class all the time. People are like, I want more weight, and it's not realistic because you can't even get into those positions. So starting as simple as possible, as specific as possible, you know, master that squat, master that overhead position, and then move forward. Even for the listeners who aren't lifting 100 kilos.
You had a good conversation with one of your athletes here yesterday. You guys both had it. You pulled up that chart. It was like the normal tips of the CrossFit, right? He's like, listen, I've been doing it for what, like a year or so. I just want to get stronger, but how do I even know what's an attainable goal? Because it's kind of a shot in the dark.
Yeah.
Then as a coach, you can pull those up, you know, and you can be like, hey, like, this is where you're at right now. To get to the next level of development based on these terms, you get here. You know, and then at least you have a goal.
Absolutely.
So you'll send me those, and I'll post those also.
You have to take it to that next step because for all these goals, right? It takes a certain time to really think about getting it done. Because if you just let it linger and you don't have an actual goal in mind of when you're trying to get it done, it usually never happens.
Right. Yeah. And that's, I think, one thing that you have done to help yourself create timely goals is saying, all right, well, I'm going to do a competition on this day, and a competition on this day. So it says, all right, I need to make sure that my shit's together.
That way, it's like holding yourself accountable.
Exactly.
That's
So that's the key, timely.
Which then is a whole other topic of like having great training partners, having a great environment that will hold you accountable of your, if you don't show up, like we have a great day, we're getting texts from each other. We half-ass it, I say, you know, somebody's like, hey Mike, get the bitch out of your heart and start getting on the squat bar. I've had that in the past couple of months and it's helped me grow, so.
Training with other people, having group chats, I think is a very effective thing. It just builds that team bonding too. Everyone wants to be part of it.
And everyone loves to talk shit.
In the most constructive ways.
It's not always constructive.
So then the last one, and that kind of goes, I guess, with the team, which is time. So just settle.
We're on the team.
Hey,
We just bring up the team.
His caffeine's kicking in. So,
Timeouts.
all right, so that's kind of the SMART goal process.
Yeah.
So then, let's go into that first one, which we talked about in the car, which was where are we going now after we finished?
Right. Well, so you're a little bit different than I am. So your goals were very only lift specific. So you wanted to have a 240 total. You got that. So what do you do now?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Well, so
and
then I'm gonna kind of throw this in with anybody who's played a competitive sport that might be, and Mike, you can chime in on this. You played a high level, as you guys all played sports. Maybe it's like a season. Maybe it's like a 10 to, maybe it's football season. Maybe it's a baseball season. Long season. Obviously, you might not be training as much in that period, right? And it kind of correlates also with what I was doing. I was training a lot, and then I started taking my training down for the big shebang, which is my competition. Now I'm young, right? My body's a little beat up. Mentally, I've kind of achieved my goals, and I've been going so hard that I need to slowly kind of get myself back into the swing of things without falling off the wagon. And also, how do I find motivation? So, like what I'm doing now is it's just I was so one-sided in Olympic weightlifting, because that's what I was training for. Now I'm kind of like getting back to that general kind of prep of coming in and just doing the big basic movements, not necessarily killing myself or having to be extremely stringent with my guidelines. I just kind of enjoying the process and kind of getting back into that, training more with others and kind of open my training program up to other things. That's still parallel with my strength and power and just fitness goals.
So let me ask you this. So we did a CrossFit competition together on
the day after
his
Wrecked
PR. Yeah. So it was a CrossFit competition. I'm a CrossFitter. He is not, and our other athlete that was with us was also not a CrossFitter. We did reasonably well in the competition, but I think you had a little bit of an aha moment during it, and I don't know if this is going to lead to your programming and your goals going forward, but the last workout was 15 back squats at 185, 30 GHD sit-ups, and then a thruster ladder, 135, 155, 185, 205, or 195 and 205. And so I had you go first, and so you get through the back squats fine. They no repped you a couple times because of semantics.
My ass wasn't coming.
His face was red.
Yeah, even though
was too
yeah,
big.
yeah.
I know. I
but-
said my hips are there. It's my chunky ass.
Yeah. I guess the GHD sit-ups fine. You get through the thrusters, and what happened?
So the thrusters made it all the way through until I hit 195, and like shit hit the fan. I couldn't do a thruster at 195. Failed it twice, and it was kind of like, holy shit, like that's a gimme weight. Like warm-ups, I was hitting it. My strict press is almost near that.
So because of that, your goals have changed, you said?
Well, I think, like anything, like in my training for a specific sport, I didn't need to have that lactic acid. My body I didn't need to cope with that. Endurance wasn't a thing. It was essentially I got 6 opportunities spaced out within a couple minutes to hit a heavy lift. Now, and obviously now I want to kind of take myself out of that, start building up other bases, so then over time I can build myself up higher. So like what I was saying was, it kind of highlighted the fact that, okay, like I've had my fun, really working on one aspect, but to overall develop your body, you have to start developing other aspects. So it just kind of was a perfect segment into like, okay, maybe I got to start doing some more aerobic conditioning, start getting my lactate
Threshold.
Well, how about this? How about, you guys both kind of reach your goals? What if someone would have gotten to that stage and, missed making a total?
Well, I've done that. We've done that. We've all done that.
Yeah.
I think,
Like, I'm a big fan of, because I played year after year, and I know that whether it's competition after competition or baseball season after baseball season, you have to get ready for the next one. So I think right after one ends is, yes, you're gonna have to take some form of like mental, physical rest, but at the same time, you should be looking at what did you not do well in that time, what were your weaknesses, because I think you always have to go back to your basics. No matter what you do, like pre-competition, I was training as hard as I possibly could. I was making sure after training I was resting, I was taking cold baths and all that, but at the same time
That's because you didn't pay your heating bill.
like
Or you're
you look
trying to
at,
be like football.
you gotta go back to the basics and look at what did you not do well, because even though you don't want to just like kick yourself while you're down if you didn't hit your goals, but at the same time, why didn't you reach it? Or if you did, how can I get better?
Right.
Like it can't just be, okay, what's the next goal, which is cool and all, but I think it's a little bit like spastic too. Like, okay, what's next for me? You can always look a little bit within yourself and find out, okay, where can I get better? Because it'll actually start to open doors that you didn't know you had.
Yeah, sure. I dig that. So let's say that you're an only person and you don't hit your goals, and so take this time. What do? Do you sign up for a competition immediately, or do you take a specific amount of time to just chill out?
Well, yeah. So I think and we'll kind of go on like the strength science of this. And how we try to work our clients, I'm sure you guys are your athletes, depending on your goal or your focus, you can split the year up into like some phases, right? So you take like 12-month cycle, yearly, it's a macro cycle. You kind of look at the whole thing, or that's a meso cycle.
Macros is micros.
So then what you could do is, and we'll use CrossFit for example, because you're CrossFit coaches. Your in season is that open, that month period of the open, right? So that's in like early March.
Yeah.
So as a coach, end of February, so you look at like from January to the open, that's your preseason, right? Think if anybody's played a sport, anybody watched a sport, you got preseason. During that time, it's a high emphasis on skill development, right? So that's your gymnastic work, that's your aerobic base to really just get that heart to be able to be comfortable. That's the mental training you do when you put somebody in like a horrible like epoch state. They got to get used to playing there.
Yeah.
Those are your two-a-days. But before that, what you do is then you look at, okay, after the open, what happens? Go back to general fitness. Go back to maybe not, stressing the joints so much and kind of have fun with things. Start to kind of deload and reset your charts. And then it's just a progressive upload from that. So maybe in the summer, or maybe in the fall and winter, you guys are not preparing for a heavy strength cycle to kind of have people ready to peak. That's in the world of CrossFit.
Yep.
In the world of an Olympic weightlifting or any powerlifting, you got to kind of pick your meets, and then you have to kind of backtrack from there, and you might not have a whole year to program. Like I did between August and now, I did 4 meets. So this was my season. In like 12 weeks, I did 4 meets. You know, so it was like my summer and late spring. I was like, we did last summer, all of me and you, and we all did a heavy like strength cycle. I mean, like heavy ass hypertrophy. I got strong. Then I went into like a peaking cycle to really cap that strength off. And then it was like, I have to now maintain that strength because I'm now working on high skill development and all this. So I think and you don't have to be an athlete to break that down. You know, we have clients that go on, they have a wedding. You know, like I got a wedding coming up in May. You know, if I wanted to lose weight, never.
He wants to look really good in a backless gown.
Yeah, I gotta get that banana hammock out. You know, like if I wanted to do that, then you put your timelines on, you have your SMART goals, and then you backtrack from there, and then you put your timelines on.
So SMART goals, let's say I'm weekend warrior again. I love these guys. Let's say they're what I usually do. And then they say, oh, I'm gonna do 2 days during the holidays. It's not gonna happen. Most of them are
Disappear.
piecing out. I'm gonna go here, I'm traveling here, I'm gonna eat everything I want for Thanksgiving, everything I want for Christmas. It's like, make those realistic ones.
Yeah.
Realistic goals. Like say, hey, this is exactly how much time I'm gonna dedicate to either skill work or mobility work or keeping it simple. And then when I'm ready, I'm gonna start amping it up and then worry about the volume and all this other stuff that we were talking about pre-open season.
And that's a good point too. So Mike and I were talking about this too. So with the holidays, everyone travels a lot. Everyone kind of eats like shit. Really quick fact for you guys at home. The average American gains anywhere between 3 and 8 pounds between Thanksgiving and New Year's.
The average American gains anywhere between 3 and 8 pounds between Thanksgiving and New Year's.
That's straight muscle, by the way. Just joking.
Usually not most. Usually not most. So usually a lot of us, we're traveling.
Can't wait.
You get huge. We're traveling to different places, so we're sitting a lot more than we might normally sit. We're eating a lot more carbohydrates than we might normally eat, and we're not performing nearly the same amount of output that we do. So after a competition for you, I mean, it's almost perfect for someone like you to take this time just to chill the fuck out.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
I literally planned it somewhat around. I told myself that I need to hit my meet total here because I'm going home for a week. I'll be hunting. I realistically won't want to train long hours. So, and if I eat, I eat. You know, and then I'm picking some pretty high volume, simple exercises when I'm gonna train. It's like, was it Stone Cold when he had that Instagram video of his favorite exercises? Or was that Triple A?
that was Stone Cold.
Stone Cold.
That was
What'd
Stone
he
Cold.
say?
Deadlifts,
Back
squats, bent over rows, tricep pull down, bicep curls, bench press.
So those are going to be my training program, right? And I'm not going to overthink
I just wrote your
shit.
training program.
So
down,
but it really, like, that's a very effective training program.
Yeah.
I keep it simple, like KISS, just like SMART. Keep it simple, stupid, right? Just do it over and over. So that's our plan. So for you guys out there that are saying, listen, I'm going to eat a lot of food, then take this time. Don't be a huge freaking glutton.
Don't eat like an asshole.
Watch episode 1. But you can start to use those nutrients, right? Because you
Bless
eat
you.
sweet potatoes, you eat chicken or turkey, you're eating all those sugars. Then train hard as a motherfucker. Put on some solid muscle, and then deal with it after the return. It's better in the contrary than just sitting on your ass and doing it anyways.
Really quick Thanksgiving tip for those of you that are going to be sitting at home. Get up Thanksgiving morning. Lunch or dinner isn't until 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. If you're,
Or you can watch the Lions lose.
whatever.
American.
Get up and work out. Put yourself in a caloric deficit. So go take a CrossFit class if your box is open. Go run a 5K. Go do something so that you put yourself in a caloric deficit so that you have that
So you can earn what you're about to
earn your meal.
Here's your Thanksgiving squat challenge. How about for beginners, half your body weight on the bar for 100 reps? Is that pretty easy?
Sure.
For beginner.
Yeah, that's easy.
For half your body weight? Dude, for you that's like 20 pounds. Ready. Just the bar.
And then if you feel so lucky, you can go your body weight on the bar for 100, and that's like intermediate. If you want to be crazy and insane, put 1.25 on the bar and go to hammer. Just 100 squats, call it a day.
There we go.
You did something similar
Stuff your
to
face.
that for your birthday, right? Just
Oh, that was rough. Yeah. I think I did 50 clean and jerks. Or no, my age.
But again,
28,
he's
yeah.
he's earning his right to just
To party.
Then I
food, party, drink.
smashed the cake, smashed the steak,
Had some whiskey.
a lot of whiskey.
Yeah.
I even had a cigar. I smoked a cigar.
Yeah.
Ooh, good and good for you.
Fancy.
Yeah. What was?
I
I'm
didn't
trying to
do
think what I
that.
did for my birthday. For my birthday this year, I turned 29, so I did 290 calories on the assault bike. I think the year before that, when I turned 28, I did I always do something around either the date of my birth. I think because I was born August 30th, 1986. So I think I did 8 rounds,
So that D-Day.
like 30 burpees, 8 pistols, 6 handstand push-ups, strict, something like that. But just
So let's do this. If
nastiness.
you're watching this, and you can send us in the comment section below. If you say, hey, I want a cool workout that I can do, we're gonna come up with something. Kind of give us like a quick background on what you want.
For your birthday?
No, like for Thanksgiving.
Okay.
We'll say like the first 5 people that comment in the section below, either on the blog post that you're reading right now, or on YouTube, comment, and we'll get back to you within a couple hours with your cool little workout. We'll post it on our social media and we'll give it a cool little name for you.
Fitness.
But it has to happen before Thanksgiving because you're going to do this on Thanksgiving
Yes.
or on the Friday after.
Cool.
Red Friday.
It's called Blackout Friday.
And whichever
Blackout Friday.
one of us programs it for you, we'll do the WOD too.
All right.
All right,
I'll
so
take
Chris
that.
is going to program everything.
No, I take that back.
Well, Dewar already has his. He has to do 100 burpees anyway. So,
I'm going to do it.
yo.
Yeah. Later.
That's one thing that pisses me off. Whenever people are like, "Oh, I'm traveling, I can't work out." Fuck you.
Yeah.
That's
Or
stupid.
it's like tough to eat. I'm like,
But why,
I live
Dre?
in a world.
You have your body.
Yeah.
Can you do burpees?
Yes.
Everyone can do burpees, even if they're modified. Everyone can do squats.
Handstands.
You can do handstands. You can do push-ups. You can do pike push-ups. You can do
Backflips.
sit-ups. You can do lunges. You can run. You can walk. Whatever your fitness
You can
level
meditate.
is,
You can
there's
stretch.
always something that you can do. Always something.
Yeah, but how much can you bench?
Do you even lift, bro?
All right, so back on track. What so we're talking
did
about
goals for.
we did goals for competition. The goals kind of for finishing the training cycle, which kind of goes into that, and then kind of went into not eating like an asshole at the holidays.
I'll give a for instance. So you talked a bit about CrossFit. So last year, after the Open, so I had an entire trip planned around that. So after the Open, literally 2 days after it finished, no, a day after the Open, we did the Iron Triathlon. You guys remember that?
That's great. It was weird.
Yeah, it was gross.
fun.
So
I had a great time.
so the Iron Triathlon
Free Bud Diesels later.
Yeah.
It was all fun. Yeah.
For those of you that don't know, it's based on a CrossFit workout called Linda, also called the 3 bars of death. So it's 1.5 times your body weight deadlift, 1 times your body weight bench press, and up 3/4 of your body weight squat clean. So pick it up off the ground, squat it, stand it up. So
20 to 1.
10 to 1 is Linda, but we did the Iron Triathlon 1 to 10. So 1 of each, 2 of each, 3 of each, 4 of each, all the way up to 20. So it ends up being a total of like 600 and.
Dude, it took over 2
Yeah, it was 2 hours.
Who was?
I was the
Where did we
slowest.
get that? Jason Khalifa and.
Jason Khalifa and
They
Dan
did it.
Bailey did it. It took I think Dan Bailey like an hour and a half. It took
Yeah.
Khalifa an hour 45 minutes.
I
Took
just
me,
remember I
like,
had to
2
get
and a
on a
half.
plane the next day.
Yeah,
My
got on a
my
plane
back
that
was
day.
fine. Yeah, you went to Seattle.
I went to Portland.
Portland.
Yeah. So anyway,
My
So
legs.
after the Open, we do the Iron Triathlon.
and then I go get on a plane, and my fiance was pissed because we were supposed to go to Newark and catch a plane from there. And I go into the workout like, oh yeah, it's not going to be that big of a deal. I'll finish in about 2 hours. It took me like 2 hours and 34 minutes. So I'm late. Get home. We eventually end up making our flight, so it's no big deal. But I go to Portland and we just hung out. So we just like drank some beer, ate some donuts, ate some delicious foods, and that's sort of what I did. Like I didn't work out for I think 3 or 4 days. Just gave my body a complete chill the fuck out. I didn't drink any alcohol in preparation for the Open. I think the last time I drank was New Year's Eve, and I didn't drink it all up through January, February, March, all the way through the end of March. And yeah. So I had some IPAs, had some whiskey, and I just had a good time.
It was you time.
Yeah, it was a good time.
I just had an
So why do you want
athlete.
streaking?
I had an athlete finish the NYC marathon.
Yeah.
And they completely bombed it. Sorry to put it out there, but
Well, he still did it.
wait, so
I've never run 28
so
miles.
I'm proud of this guy. Like, dude, you freaking finished this thing.
Yeah.
You know? Then he comes into the box. Maybe give himself like 2 or 3 years. Come into the box, and then it's, oh man, I can't lift this, and I sucked at this WOD, and it's like, dude.
Hey asshole, you ran 26 miles
Well,
2 days ago.
He's on the different end of the spectrum. So like if I'm right now, I'm strong as shit. In the WODs, I look fine, right? I'm strong as shit. But if I was going to a marathon, I'd be crying after like 2 miles. Well, he's just the difference. So if he tries to lift heavy, it's like the science
He
shows
also
you.
came in PR to snatch like right before the marathon.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, all right, cool. You know, now still give yourself some time.
Yeah.
You just ran 26 miles. You know, don't come in here and think you're gonna have the same, especially after it went not as planned. Now you're just your demeanor is just completely different.
Yeah.
You walk in here, you're like, man, I bombed that, and then you keep talking about it, and it just keeps digging at you.
Negativity.
When you can just take some time yourself and meditate, move around.
Yeah, and I think it's also setting. He needs, and I have clients that do, and it goes back to your like eating and making sure you're, if you have a goal, you gotta understand. Like him, he had a goal to train a marathon.
Yeah.
If you have a very specific goal like that, it's amazing. You're gonna make progress, but you have to understand that something else is gonna give. Right? His strength, science has shown, muscle fibers are gonna shift. Right? They're gonna go to more slow twitch type 1 fibers. They're not going to be as strong and resilient to power output.
One race.
Yeah.
One race.
So that's what's going to happen, but it's more like the training, right?
Yeah.
Or then you have, I have clients who are like, I want to lose weight, and they're already lean, and I go, okay, well, let's look, you're training hard, you're doing X, Y, and Z, we set smart goals, so now we have to look at what's going on, because you're not reaching. A lot of them drink, right? And now it's a matter of, okay, so you set the goals, you made them smart, made timelines, we have a great program. Are you motivated and committed enough to them to reach them, right? 15 to 20 drinks, 10 drinks a week, whatever it is. I'm like, is it gonna be worth giving up that to reach your goals?
Quick math. So anyone who's out there trying to lose or gain weight,
This guy has the best facts.
3,500 calories. 3,500 calories equals 1 pound of fat or 1 pound of muscle. So if you want to lose 1 pound, you need to deficit 3,500 calories. How you do that is up to you. It can be a combination of diet and exercise, but the easiest way to do it is through not eating like an asshole. So let's take those 10 to 15 drinks that you're having over the course of the week, and that's very conservative.
Well, so I asked him, he's like, 15, 20. I'm like,
People here in
all
New
right.
York, yes.
I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
well,
that's
let's make it easy, right?
every
I
night,
said,
all
okay,
the
let's
time.
do 15 because that's probably going to equal 3,000 calories. I said,
Yeah.
what are you drinking? He goes, usually like Manhattan's, old fashions,
Sugar,
some
sugar, sugar.
wine. I go, okay, well
Sugar,
let's
sugar,
go.
sugar.
The standard pour is 150 to 200. So let's say it's 200. You have 15 a week, which is pretty norm.
But, so that's an average pour
3,000.
of liquor by itself.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like an ounce of liquor is maybe 80 to 100 calories.
But then he's having the vermouth, or he's having the bitters, and if it's an old fashioned, I love them. The sugar,
It's
right?
literally sugar.
So you're looking at, if you did the math, you're looking at nearly 3,000 calories in excess.
Yeah.
Now here's where shit gets crazy is, and this is for all your holiday consumers out there, is your alcohol is not created equal, right? If you had 3,000 calories a week in surplus of sweet potatoes and steak and oatmeal and whey protein and milk, your body would be amazing.
Yeah.
If you worked out, that's like prime fuel for muscle
You get
growth.
huge.
Yeah,
So
like
training,
that's what happens.
alcohol for
Alcohol,
Yeah.
alcohol gets directly deposited in fat cells because it's seen as a toxic thing for your body.
A lot of people say that alcohol is empty calories. No, it is toxic calories.
Yeah.
Because A, it affects your ability to breathe and process oxygen efficiently. And also, like Mike was just saying, any excess carbohydrates in your system get stored directly as fat. And because alcohol cannot be converted into energy, it goes directly into fat. You can eat a fucking pizza, but a pizza will at least allow you to like run or row or bike or lift some heavy shit. But alcohol just can't be turned
And it's
into
like a
energy.
behavioral thing, and we're right around the holidays, so we're really harassing this holiday thing.
Or even the winter, everybody else has.
In that,
Yeah.
if you
It's
and
cold
if you
outside.
aren't committed, if you haven't set great goals, it's going to be much
What-
easier to not stay motivated, right? And if you're going to start drinking or eating like detrimental foods because you're not motivated on your smart goal, what happens is then the behaviors start to change, right? Alcohol in itself, we know the science behind it. What happens when you drink a lot of alcohol? The science shows us that it's going to be body fat. The behavior of doing that, you're usually hungover, usually skipping workout, usually eating excess food, eating shitty foods, and then what happens? Exactly.
The dog.
And then what happens is that's how you get the 8 to 10 pounds. So bottom line is, and we're not saying don't drink, we're saying you can control it. So I tell my clients that drink a huge, like every drink they have to have 16 to 20 ounces of water before they get another drink. Like chug it. Like I don't care if you pee your brains out, but that's at least gonna help the hangover. And maybe you'll want to go work out.
I heard this.
This is even with, when you're talking about behavior, it's not just drinking and eating, but your mind, the way you're thinking about your workouts when you walk into a classroom. You come in here, and then we're going to go back to Julio's 80%. We miss you, bro.
Viva la Julio.
Yeah, so coming in here and just crushing yourself every single time, and then feeling bad because there was one workout where you did really bad, and then how are you going to get to that goal when you just continue?
I don't know how
yourself into the ground.
Can I talk about alcohol for a little bit? So we're even more. So for many years, I drank a lot. So before I worked in the fitness industry, I was a corporate banker. Hated my life, so I just drank every day to cope with it, and that was that. And then I began bartending, and then in that lifestyle, you just drink because it's social, and your clients are buying you drinks, and it's a great time and whatever. You're staying out until 6 o'clock in the morning. Stupid, whatever. So I got into the fitness industry, started eating better, but I still like to drink. So I would still drink, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Sometimes I would do fun day, Sunday, like go to brunch, crush mimosas, all that good stuff. And I noticed in my I noticed in my training that I was getting marginally stronger over the course of the time, but I never seemed to get better metabolically. I was always like, oh man, this workout is so fucking hard. Every single time that I do it, every time that I hop on the rower and row for 5-10 minutes, I'm like, man, it is so hard, because if you are filling your body with those toxins, you're essentially fighting an uphill battle. So let's say that you drink on the weekend. You come in Monday, there's still a buttload of alcohol in your system. So Monday, that's a wash. Like, you're not going to be able to breathe right. You're not going to be able to produce a whole lot of force. So you just kind of sweat that alcohol out a little bit. Tuesday, you still have a little bit of residual effect because you probably didn't sleep all that well over the weekend as well, which leads to another thing. When you drink, you don't actually sleep, or your body's not at a full state of rest. Preach! Yeah. So anyway, by the time Wednesday comes around,
I'm fucking motivated.
Yeah. By the time Wednesday comes around,
stop drinking.
No, but by the time Wednesday comes around, your body is beat up anyway. Like, even now, like, I sleep 8 hours, I eat extremely well. Even today is a Wednesday, and my body hurts because I've done fitness the last 3 days in a row. Thursday, you take a rest day, a recovery day, whatever. So that leaves Friday. You have one good workout during your week, and you're wondering why you're not making gains.
Well, and then you go drink Friday, and
back into the
over time, but you drink Friday, your body can't repair itself from that Friday workout.
Yeah.
So now you're actually putting it in a catabolic state, right? Catabolic, meaning instead of anabolic, where you're promoting growth,
like these guys,
like steroids, but not doing steroids, but your body's natural ability to create growth. Catabolic, you're essentially just tearing shit down over and over. Imagine if you did that for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years.
Yeah.
And it all goes back to, are your goals smart? Are you driven to get them? And if they're not laid out well, and you don't have an environment that's going to allow you to do that, whether it's training partners, environment, a great coach, the last one we want to go to is injury. And that's a kind of an intriguing one, because both of you have had to deal with it. We've all dealt with injuries, but you have had an injury. You can tell people what happened. Well, actually, the first one, but basically the synopsis was your back like snapped.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And then after that,
well, if you guys have seen on our YouTube or Instagram or Facebook page, I broke his back.
Was it at Fitness League?
I broke his back.
Yeah.
We had
did you guys repost that?
His spinal cord was sticking out of the back.
We posted that one.
That was a great one.
But we had Superhero Day once, and I dressed up like
it.
Bane. He dressed up like Batman, and I
With that mask.
I broke his back.
And that's actually how it happened.
Sorry.
No, but recovering from something like that, it's really tough. I mean, just mentally thinking about picking something up off the ground, or just taking the wrong step the wrong way. But you have to want it. It took me to a point where I was like, man, all this work that I'm putting in, all these hours that I'm putting into the gym for this, you know, whatever my goal was at the time, I think it was maybe like a 250 snatch and a 315 clean and jerk. Once that injury happened, my mind went to, man, you know, is it even worth it? Like,
Yeah, you
know,
sort of hit that dark place where you're like, can I get back to where I previously was?
and that's what makes it so much harder. People that take so much time off of training, even if you're not, you know, dealing with an injury, but work got in the way, you had a kid, you got married, you went out.
Life stuff. That's why I want people to come here and actually listen to this and see fitness as a way to actually help your life, whether it's something bad or something good, like you just had a kid and you need to, you know, get back to being healthy with like your body weight and stuff like that. Like fitness is great for that. That's great for the mind, you know.
Because right now, what you guys are really doing is building an awareness to how to get there.
The person you are in the gym is a direct reflection of the person you are in the real world. Facing a heavy barbell, facing a million reps of burpees, muscle-ups, thrusters, facing a long, strenuous workout requires the same skills and mindset to facing the difficult tasks in life. So how do you confront these tasks? Do you merely just go through the motions? Do you whine and complain? Do you blame others for your success or lack of success? Do you help motivate or others? Do you give it 100% every time? Do you bring intensity? Do you complete the task the best you can? Work on yourself in the gym and it will transfer over to every other aspect in your life. Boom!
Start rowing.
Why is he all gray right now?
Push-ups!
Backflips.
Can you do backflip?
Leg raises!
I can do.
That was a good one.
Toss in the air, yeah.
Yeah, real?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Let's do it right now.
You want to? Are you
I'll
ready?
just start on my 100 burpees after.
Yeah?
You guys should put like rotten apples at me. No,
No.
I'm not kidding. All right, so
So coming back from injury,
Yeah.
goal.
well, let's go back to this.
It's also mindset. I think for after an injury, a lot of it is mindset. You have to be willing to go there. You have to want to go there.
Well, let's go even setting your goal. And like I'm gonna ask you personally, so you had very definitive goals, right? You wanted a 315 clean and jerk. You wanted a 250 snatch. Now, your goal might not be, I want to deadlift 400 pounds.
It was not, no.
So what is your goal?
I went back to the basics. I said, hey, I need to figure out, and this is where everyone's starting, right? I need to figure out why this happened, and I'm going to say it's living in overextension, right? Overhead every time. Heavy jerks over and over and over, back squats. Overextension, how do I fix that? Strengthen my midline, my back, start messing around with movements that I haven't messed around before, and then for me, again, shoulder flexion overhead, and then attack that. And I attacked it aggressively. So now I walk over to a barbell. It's been 4 months since I touched a barbell, and I can still move the exact same way, right? I was just talking to a friend today, and we were talking about how for everyone who's not this aware of their bodies, we call it a sleeping body or a sleepy body, right? And that's what it is. You know, and if you want to make more complex movements happen and more complex movements look efficient, you have to really wake up. And that's what I did. I took that time, those 4 months, I learned to wake up. I put myself in positions where I haven't been before. I started going upside down a lot. My hand balancing practice has gotten a lot better. We're still talking about fitness.
It's like a golden banana.
And now I come back and I grab a barbell and I put it overhead. I mean, yes, granted, I'm always teaching this stuff and practice is still there, but it feels like nothing will happen. Still feels awkward coming off the ground, but I've been working on that. But again, number one, mindset for me was very tough, just trying to get back into it. Learning all this new stuff helped me kind of focus on one thing and one goal, and now I'm able to apply it to everything else. So yeah, I want that 250 snatch again.
Yeah, I think that
that
right,
315 clean and jerk again.
I think it is like that subjective goal, and it kind of goes back to, I'm not saying you're a beginner, but you have to have that mindset of like,
Oh, yeah.
you can't hold on to what you were. You got to diversify your fitness account, right? You got to go back to the basics. You know, and I think that coming from an injury or off of any athletic event,
Yes.
you got to do that.
Baseball, I had a complete UCL tear in my elbow, so that's big old ligament right there. Nice scar, you can see it, smiley face. Yeah, so
Don't look at his 14-inch biceps.
the recovery time was scheduled for 1.5 years to about 2 years.
Hey.
That's what the doctors say. But my goal was I have to make it back for my next season. So I have to make it back, which was 10 months. And like Chris said, the biggest thing was mindset. You have to be driven to even make that goal happen. But on the other side is dealing with that mindset of, can I get back there, or am I going to hurt myself again? And you have to actually put yourself back in the line of fire if you wanna actually do it. Because if you start to shy away from this, or the opportunity to get better, that the injury will weigh you down.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's gonna take you in the opposite direction that you want to go, and you'll never get there. So my goal was just putting myself back in the line of fire, constantly stretching. And one thing I can say is consistency. Make sure every single day that I did all the basics that I had to do, even when I was a kid starting out pitching, learning again how to get my arm up, how to get my arm through the range of motion that I had to go through to throw 90 miles, to actually throw a whole game again. I had to get my arm stamina back up, and it took honestly every single day of work. And you can't put anything else in the way of that. So it was less drinking, less partying, mentally telling myself that I have to rest on certain days and the next day get right back at it, first thing in the morning. Yeah, you have to do it. And that's, to me, the only way to get back from being hurt is consistency, having a goal in mind and having it somewhere where you're going to see it.
You guys write it down, all of them?
I work on everything. Yeah.
I wrote down
Program.
100 kilos.
No, I wrote down, a long time ago I wrote down 240, but then I realized that was
So 240 total.
maybe aggressive in 1 year, and then I said, okay, I'll meet it halfway through the year, and I did. And then I was like, we're back on track.
Now since we have our phone, we check our phone all the time. I had it just on the back screen, as what are my goals? And it was 10 months.
Yep.
Then from then on, 9 months, 8 months, 4 weeks.
I think that's as we wrap things up, really this whole goal setting thing goes far beyond just fitness, right? Somebody actually in our folder posted a financial goal thing. I don't know if that was you. It was a financial budgeting thing.
Probably, yeah.
But it's huge. Get your finances in check. You can use the same SMART goals. You want to have $20,000 in your savings account. You want 6 months in there as liquid cash. Which there's a lot of money people that sell. That's a great idea. You can start to systematically do that and break it down into day by day. If you want to increase your sales as a business person, break it down as your goals and then the tasks that are tied to that. If you want to be a better partner relationship, for me, it's I want to be my partner. I want to go home and make sure I'm cooking meals because I realize that that's just something fun that we like to do together. So I want to make sure I set time together.
So perfect.
I cook every day.
It's just little shit like that. But if you set the goals, it doesn't have to be a crazy goal, but just something so small, then you can really start to tie everything together.
When it starts with that quote you wrote, it starts with yourself.
Yeah.
How you treat your body, how you behaving in the gym, how disciplined are you as far as nutrition goes.
Yeah.
And then everything else just falls into place.
And
so
being
much.
honest with yourself too.
Yeah.
I think it's so freaking easy, but it's also the hardest thing for people to do
You just
because
start.
But I think it's because people have to open themselves up to criticism, to look within and self-reflect, and it's much easier to turn to drugs, alcohol, prescription medicine to deal with anxiety, the pain, whatever. Or just not address the fact that you don't feel great. So maybe you need to look in the mirror and write down your goals.
Love yourself first.
Love thyself and then love others.
I don't mind being corny as
Not
hell.
like that, bro.
Love
That's
what you do.
bananahammock.com.
So have some.
But yeah, so without getting too sentimental here. Dude,
And if you
that's
guys
crazy shit.
really
You should make a
want to
smiley face
start,
on there. Maybe do that.
if you guys really want to start, you can email any one of these guys.
Wink,
So,
wink.
Yeah.
Reach out, Fitness League
Hit
5.
us up on the Fitness League 5 at Instagram.
Follow us at Fitness League 5.
Uh,
Hashtag more fitness.
and like us on YouTube and share this with others. Post it up there. And leave a review on iTunes if you're listening to iTunes. It does amazing things for us, and we thank you every day for it.
Yeah.
So,
Bam.
Namaste.
without further ado,
Peace.
Julio, Fitness League 5.
Hey,
right.
more fitness on 3.
more fitness?
More fitness.
Hashtag more fitness.
1, 2, 3. More fitness!
That's
Now the ripple will not allow